Hi folks, Merlin here, bringing you another old world video. So it's launch weekend for the old world. It came out in shops yesterday. I've heard a lot of stories about people having trouble getting stock. That was not the case for British Troll Hobbies. My order of the Bretonnia Army box, the Armies of Good book plus the Bretonnian dice came in, so I picked it up, and we're here to have a unboxing. So it is the return of fantasy, and we have a nice chunky box to look at. We'll have a quick look at the back. So we got the army shot, the brand new Bretonnian Pegasus Lord, Men at Arms, Pegasus Knights, Knights of the Realm, and there's even a unit of Peasant Bowmen there as well. Plus we get all the gaming essentials to get us started. So yeah, these are, I believe, going to be a limited release. We know that the Orcs are going to be the next faction. They've got a battle force, but not a actual or battalion, as it's called, not an actual full army set like this. So these could possibly go away eventually, and we'll see the return of the classic Bretonnian box. So bunch of knights, loads of peasants, and the old Pegasus Knight or two. I reckon we'll see most of the contents of this minus one unit of Knights of the Realm and the Lord, possibly minus one unit of the Men at Arms as a sort of standalone box. But looking at it, we have 76 miniatures, so the Orc one actually has 73, so it's not too far off the contents of this. We could just see the Lord removed, and we'll have 75 models for our Bretonnian one. Yeah, things are looking good for fans of fantasy. As you can see, I got my fantasy shirt on today. So before we jump over to the table and take a look at this beautiful box of stuff, a big thank you, of course, to British Troll Hobbies, who let me pick up my set early. But yeah, we're here to unbox this, so a big thank you to them. Big thank you, of course, to all my subscribers and of my Patreons if you are supporting me there. So we've been having a good bit of interaction with you guys. I've got a paint video coming up soon for Flesh Eater Courts. I might be doing two, one on YouTube and another one for Patreon. I will also be planning to do another poll series, deciding what you want to see done next. I got a feeling Age of Sigmar might win again, as it won by a clear run last time. But hopefully we will choose a slightly different faction to put a bit of variety on things. So finally then, don't forget to do all the usual. There's a little like button, a subscribe button if you haven't already clicked it. And of course, in the video description, there's plenty of links for you to follow, including the Patreon page and a few affiliate links for you. Right, I think I've talked long enough, so let's jump over the table and we will take a look at the Bretonnian Army box. So here we have the brand new Warhammer, the Old World Kingdoms of Bretonnia edition box set. And these are essentially what we're going to be getting in place of starter sets. It comes with an army, everything you need to get playing, so the rules, reference sheets, dice, range rulers, and templates, as we see the return of templates. So it is fantasy battles in the world of legend. This is going to be a revival of the classic Warhammer fantasy setting. We are going backwards in time, so we've got a little bit more space to explore things. They're introducing new characters that are in the old setting characters of legend, so we'll be seeing plenty of those in their prime. We'll also be seeing the return of some classic models that are effectively immortal, such as many of the elven characters, and of course the Bretonnian standard, the Green Knight. So let's flip around and take a look at the back. So I'll tilt it back a bit. So the Kingdoms of Bretonnia box. So we have 352-page rulebook for the game system, 21 six-sided dice, that's 20 dice plus a scatter dice. We have templates, a small, medium, blast and a flame, as well as 2 range rulers. Reference sheet and Bretonnian transfer sheet. Sadly, the transfer sheet is locking you into the colour scheme on the box, so if you're wanting to do a different dukedom, it's going to be a long wait, possibly, before you get transfers. My advice is paint them up in your colours and add details once the relevant transfers do come out. Then we get 76 miniatures, so 75 of them are classic models returning for the first time in about 10 years, nearly. Yeah, about that. With nearly 4 editions of Age of Sigmar. So that's one edition, 2 years, so at least 8 years then. But yeah, what we get is the brand new Bretonnian Lord on Royal Pegasus, who can make either a Duke or a Baron. We get 12 of the beautiful Knights of the Realm. I love these kits when I used to have my old Bretonnian army. They were fun to paint, especially in all different heraldic colours you could do back in the day. I like how they're doing things now with a more uniform look, as opposed to a crusading army. You're fine to do that still if you want, but for me, I do kind of like this uniformed look. We get 36 men-at-arms, so 2 units of 18 there, a unit of 24 bowmen, and 3 of those beautiful Pegasus Knights on their new bases, which are the 50 by 75, which they were moved to towards the end of Fantasy, but I believe their kits never got updated with them. They just released the bases separately for you to remount as you saw fit. But yeah, they used to be on the classic 40 by 40 bases, and weren't the easiest things to move around the table, so hopefully these bases will improve that. But yeah, that's that. So let's open them up and take a look inside. But before we do that, I want to give a quick shout out to Bridge Troll Hobbies, who, as I said, are my friendly local gaming store, and they are very friendly. It's a family-run gaming store. They sell everything from card games to board games to miniatures games and everything in between. They've been the heart and soul of the gaming world of Tiverton for 5 years, I think it is now. Yeah, 2 years in their new shop, and I think it was a year or 2 in their older shop. But yeah, they have a beautiful shop, gaming cafe out the back, so you can sit, have a game with somebody. They've got plenty of board games for you to choose from, are available to play. They have a nice range of snacks and drinks, hot or cold, for you to enjoy at your leisure. And yeah, they even have a painting studio and what we call the bunker, which is the downstairs room where a lot of the war games go on. But yeah, big shout out to them for allowing me to do this video a lot quicker than what otherwise would have been. So without further ado, I'll adjust the camera and we will take a look at the beautiful contents of this box. Right, I'll bring in my knife here a sec, just so we can cut the tape. I believe that's it, just the 2 pieces. That's pretty cool. So what we'll do the quick unboxing, and then we'll have an extended look at things for anyone watching on Patreon. Oof, that's tight. So So classic black interior there, but we have that beautiful Bretonnian artwork there, which is brand new. So yeah, we have our brand new box, and yeah, giving it the good old sniff test, it smells like glorious new plastic. So yeah, first off then, we have our gaming equipment. We got our red whippy sticks. These are 18-inch range rulers. Ideal for getting you started, but I do recommend getting a cheap tape measure to replace them. We have the beautiful blast templates and flame templates. So these actually have the patterning of the classic thin clear plastic ones, but are cast in a thicker clear orange plastic. And yeah, they look fantastic. I actually have a set left over from my Horus Heresy box, so might find a use for both of these sets. Could donate one, I suppose, to a gaming club. So we have heads and wings for the horses and for the Pegasus Knights there. We have a bag of war horses for all our knights. We have that glorious new Duke or Baron frame there, looking fantastic. Then we have the brand new Royal Pegasus frame, which is also available in the Battle Standard Bearer, which has a different frame to this one, as it includes the glorious Battle Standard, but otherwise everything for the mount is identical between the two kits. We then have our 3 Pegasus Knights here. So classic Bretonnian kits. 2 halves of the knight's legs, their torso, 3 head options. We got some tilt shields there for added heraldry. Shield, lance, the Pegasus body, and 2 optional heads there. Then we are into our men at arms. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 frames of the men at arms. Oh no, we ain't. So we have 7 frames of the men at arms. We then have 3 of the Bretonnian men at arms / bowman command frame. So we can make up command units for all of our different units. We then have our peasant bowman frames. So we get 2, 4, 5 of those. So that'll be our 20 plus 1 set of the command for an extra 4 models. So we get the stakes, chains for the stakes, so you get plenty of arrow, extra details, braziers for the burning brazier rule. And yeah, 4 different bodies, 8 different heads, so you can have you can easily mix and match the heads. And finally then we have the Knights frame themselves, so you get 3 copies of this. Good thing about this is they have the same connection joints on the Knights of the Realm as well as the Pegasus Knights, so if you wanted to, you could indeed add a banner from these guys onto your Pegasus Knights if you want to give them the full command option. But we have heads for Knights of the Realm, Errantry Knights there. We got a Falcon, we got a Hornblower, 4 shields on each frame, 4 sets of legs and bodies, Champion's Sword, extra little oath seals, a book, 4 lances, of course the banner, some tilt shield pieces as well there to add extra detail. Then we have our divider, so Warhammer the Old World. That looks gorgeous. Yeah, that's definitely going to be used in future videos. We then have our hefty core rulebook. Then we have our construction guide and introductory rules. So we actually get all the rules here. So we get rules for each of the different units of knights, the Pegasus Knights, the men-at-arms, and the archers. That's pretty cool. Plus we've got special rules as well. So yeah, everything you need to get yourself started in this game is included in the box. So you can pick up the additional Forces of Fantasy rulebook, which gives you full army lists for all of the good factions, including the Bretonnians. The last thing then in the box is square bases for our infantry, flying stands, the classic ones with the peg, not the ball joint, for our Pegasus Knights. So we got 2 sets of different sizes. Yes, we've got 2 of that and 1 of that, yeah. So pretty cool. And finally then we get the other flying stand base, bag of dice, and a baggie there full of our rectangle bases for the braziers, the nice long ones there, and the new size for the cavalry and the Pegasus Knights there. And the last thing in the box underneath is that transfer sheet. So really cool. Loads of the axe symbols, some fleur-de-lis for adding extra detail to shields, as well as tilt shields. But yeah, pretty cool transfer sheet. Definitely nice that you have more of a set symbol. I have had it in the past where the older frames used to just have 5 of each symbol, 2 reversed and 3 facing front. You put the reverse one on one side, the facing frontwards on the other side, so they all sort of match up. But you used to occasionally get a transfer that would break and decide to screw itself up, leaving you 1 transfer short. It's nice that they actually included quite a few copies of the transfer sheet in the battalion box, as well as the other Bretonnian boxes. There was a separate transfer sheet for the men-at-arms, which had more of the standard symbol for the Duke in question. I believe they had enough to do every model in the box with I think it's like 2 to 3 different dukedoms. There was the axe, the castle, and I think Leon Loncure's Lion Rampant. But yeah, there we have it. Right. At this point, it's going to be the end of the YouTube unboxing, so up next will be my final thoughts. But if you are here on Patreon, we're going to have a closer look at those frames. So it's difficult to get in shot, but there is everything I have. You'll notice I haven't touched on the Forces of Fantasy book. I'll be doing a separate video for that at a later date, where I will focus on each of the individual factions over the course of various videos. I also haven't touched on the Bretonnian dice, but you can see them here in the packet. Beautiful dice. You get the scatter dice there, plus I believe it's 19 other dice, done in a lovely bright silver with black pips, and of course the fleur-de-lis set through with a sword as the army symbol for the 6. So yeah, pretty cool. I only really want the 1 set just because they look cool. But with the dice in here and my current dice collection, I have more than enough for plenty of games. So yeah, future videos coming for the Army of Fantasy book. The actual contents. So yeah, you have a 1250 army in here for a bargain price. You also get your core rulebook, which I believe on its own is $35.29 if you get the digital version. The Forces of Fantasy and the Hordes of Destruction books are £30. The dice were 26, so pretty pricey for dice, so that's why I only picked up the one set. I did try to get the cards, but they weren't able to order them in, so I have missed out on those. Hopefully they'll come back into stock at some point in the near future, and I can pick them up. But you get a beautiful set of models, as I was saying, plus your rulebook in the core box. A full 1250 army is a good starting point for anyone getting into the game or returning to the game. You have currently two options. You either have the Bretonnian one, which is the cheaper one, or you have the Tomb Kings one, which is a little bit more because of the larger Bone Dragon kit and the additional units you get in there. You get chariots, you get 2 units of cavalry, 2 units of spearmen, and a unit of archers, as well as, of course, that beautiful Necrolith Bone Dragon. So you can build that guy up with either a Tomb King on mount or on foot. And if you don't build the Tomb King on the dragon, you can build a Lich Priest, I think it is, on the dragon. So pretty cool that way. It's lovely to see the return of these classic kits. I'm going to have pure nostalgia rebuilding these guys. Need to, as I said, decide my colour scheme, so I think it's going to have to go back to that interactive map on the website and have a look around again. I do like Paravon, as that's a Pegasus heavy sort of dukedom, so I might eventually get some more Pegasus Knights to expand the army. But I definitely want to see the return to my collection of the classic Grail Reliquary and the Grail Battle Pilgrims, as well as the good old tree bucket, as they used to call it, the Trebuchet. Yeah, I also want to expand and get a few units that I never had before. So I never actually had mounted yeomen, as it was really pricey to get hold of them. It's a little better now. They've bundled it into a unit of 5 and a unit of 3 for a command. So I'll probably pick up 2 units of 5 at some point, plus one of the command, and have a unit of 10 with some extras left over, of course. The closest I had to owning a mounted yeoman was I had a spare horse for my damsel kit, as I put the damsel on a Pegasus, and I actually use it plus a spare man-at-arms as a casualty on my Terrorgeist base. That was awesome base conversion I did. Yeah, I just keep going off on tangents, but yeah, beautiful return to a beautiful setting. I love the new model that has beautiful amount of options. Like I said, you can buy it as a separate kit with either the Duke frame or the Paladin Battle Standard frame. So plenty of options there. Right. Price-wise then, so the Bretonnian army is actually 155. I believe the Tomb King one is 180 due to the extra units and the giant dragon. The dice, as I mentioned, was 26, and the Forces of Fantasy book was £30, totaling 211 for everything you see here on camera. As I mentioned, I picked mine up from Bridge Troll Hobbies, so the army set cost me $139.50, the dice $23.40, and the army tome cost me $27. So $189.90 there. Pretty good saving. You may find other deals elsewhere. Some websites have even done bundle deals for you. You just have to shop around really and get the best deal for you. I like supporting my friendly local gaming store when and where I can, and this was definitely one of the times I wanted to. I didn't want to run the risk of not getting the set on launch day or even on pre-order day, which was 2 weeks ago yesterday. Saturday the 20th. Yes. But yeah. So all in all, I think it's a fantastic box. Whether you are a returning fan or a brand new fan of fantasy, any of these two boxes would be a perfect jumping in point for you. Maybe a friend as well if you buy both. But yeah, getting everything in one box near enough is a brilliant way. The fact that it includes a pre-built army list is another great thing. A lot of starter sets don't have that. You just get your starter force and you have to find the rules elsewhere. That's a nice inclusion. The reference page as well, the little booklet, is another nice inclusion. Saves you having to have your big book around all the time. You have a summary of the rules plus page numbers for you to turn to quickly in the main rulebook and find the full rules. The rules for the game I've seen on various different playthroughs look fantastic. I've loved all of the articles they put out explaining the changes. I agree 100% with all of their changes they've done so far, and things look a lot different. Magic is now more widely usable. It's not restricted to the one phase. Charges can now cause you to actually fail and move where your charge has blunted and leaving you exposed to an enemy counter charge. There's nice new reactions, which means you're not going to be limited to the old stand and shoot or flee. You now have the chance to counter charge as well, which both units will count as charging. And there's a few other ones as well. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I've actually just seen on the side of the box we have closer look and painted versions of the units. So the knights, the men-at-arms, and yeah, it's just the men-at-arms and knights repeated again. So that's really cool on the outside of the box. Right, I have talked for quite some time. Thank you then to everyone who has watched this video, whether it's on YouTube or the extended version, which is available on Patreon for all supporters. So yeah, whichever tier you sign up to, you will get access to the full, more in-depth view of this set. Right, yeah, I'm off to edit this into 2 videos. Big thank you again to British Troll Hobbies, my friendly local gaming cafe that have kindly let me pick up my set early so I can bring you this beautiful content and I can get it started on building. I'm looking forward to playing my first games of fantasy in a long time. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I'm very interested to see where this game goes in the future. And I hope you will join me for a journey into a world of legend. So, finally then, big thank you to all my supporters again. Your support means a great deal to me, helps me create content like this for you. As I previously mentioned at the start of the video, there are plenty more videos coming this week and even into the future. And plenty more interactive polls for you to help decide the way that content is going. So, thank you all very much for watching. I'm off to build some Bretonnians, and until next time, stay safe and happy hobbying. Goodbye.